Before we get started, let me take a few seconds to get this out of the way. I haven't promoted either one of these in a week or two. Link to the channel on Rumble is in the description below, along with the link to Patreon. I know some of you prefer to watch me on Rumble. The channel's harder to find on that platform, so the link is below for you. If you want to support the channel through Patreon, link for that is also below. Head on over and sign up. All right. Almost 2 months ago, we talked about the two weirdos swimming in the Ivy Leagues, Lia Thomas, Iszac Henig. Now, at the time, accusations of collusion were going around. Lia Thomas was being accused of letting Iszac Henig win, not only once, but twice. Now, we have a lot of new subscribers here on the channel, so for those of you who are new to the channel and unaware, Iszac Henig is a girl who wants to be a man. Lia Thomas is a dude who wants to be a woman. Both swim in the women's division in the Ivy Leagues. Lia Thomas was accused of letting Iszac Henig win because up until that point, he had dominated women's swimming, naturally so. Watching a Lia Thomas competition was like watching Usain Bolt race a one-legged man. It wasn't close. Lia Thomas was breaking records. They, whatever the fuck. They were an unstoppable force. Then all of a sudden, a biological woman pretending to be a man beats her not once, but twice. Of course, Lia Thomas denied the accusations of collusion. I didn't let Iszac win. I was unable to use my legs in those two races. They were too sore from stomping on the dreams of actual women swimmers. There are a couple of obvious reasons Lia Thomas would lose to Iszac Henig on purpose, neither of which I think are honorable. One, she is helping out someone who's just as confused as she is. People who can't figure out their fucking gender, they gotta stick together. I mean, there aren't many people out here that are confused about gender. You look down, you see a dick, you're a dude. Look down there and see a vagina, you're a woman. That's how the rest of us look at it, but that's not how Lia Thomas and Iszac Henig think. Lia Thomas looks down, sees a dick. She either thinks God made a mistake or it's a joystick. People like this, they have to stick together. And number two, Lia Thomas thought losing to Iszac Henig would shut her detractors up. Look, guys, a biological woman beat me twice. This is proof that I have no physical advantage over women. Any of these girls have a chance to beat me if I'm not giving 100%. Well, now, it appears that we have actual proof that Lia Thomas allowed Iszac Henig to win back in January. First, let me show you the race from last Thursday. Iszac Henig did not compete in this race. I want you to watch and see how far ahead Lia Thomas is of her competition.
Thomas heads in for the final turn. It's going to be a race for second place. It might be Penn going 1-2 with Baroker making the turn currently in second place. And over the last half of the pool, nobody will touch Lia Thomas, who will finish at 4:37.32.
There's not another swimmer in the fucking frame. It looked like Lia Thomas was out there just swimming by herself, which should be the case. These other young women should be refusing to compete against her instead of allowing this bullshit to happen. What makes this even more interesting, Lia Thomas was actually accused of not giving 100% during this race, and she still won by 5 seconds. Check out this clip from ESPN, where someone working at the worldwide leader in woke must have forgotten who signs their paychecks, because we got some rare honesty. Check it out.
That last split a little bit slower, but still sub 29, the only swimmer who's been doing that here this morning on a regular basis.
And you can see the strokes, the powerful stroke of Lia Thomas, where there isn't a whole lot of movement in her leg. She's using a lot of upper body to reach and pull, and it's a much quieter stroke, even as it's more powerful than a lot of these other swimmers right now.
Now contrast that clip, those two clips. Contrast that with this clip. Now keep in mind, this is the same event that Iszac Henig beat Lia Thomas in last month by 3 seconds. Watch for yourself.
As they go into the final turn, Thomas made up some ground after Henig had the early lead. Henig is still staying stroke for stroke. Thomas edging ahead there in lane 5. Lia Thomas to the wall first at 47.63 seconds. And that is a new Ivy League meet record. Lia Thomas.
Well, damn. That race was a hell of a lot closer than the first one I showed you. I wonder why. Could it be because Iszac Henig was one of Lia Thomas's opponents? Was Lia Thomas once again taking it easy on a fellow identifier? You heard in the clip, Iszac Henig was actually leading the first half of the race. Suddenly, Lia Thomas channels her inner Superman, cranks up that testosterone that she is supposedly suppressing, and steals another championship from someone who deserves it. Not only did Lia Thomas win by tenths of a second, she also did the impossible. In the span of 7 weeks, Lia Thomas managed to improve her time in this event by 5 seconds. I'm not an expert in swimming. I know how to swim, but I'm not well versed in the intricacies of it. Even with my limited knowledge, I know it's not possible to shave 5 seconds off of your time in the span of 7 weeks. Now, when I'm not knowledgeable on something, I like to consult experts in the field. Sharon Davies was an Olympic swimmer. She won the silver medal in 1980. She has dedicated her entire life to the sport of swimming. According to Sharon Davies, not only is shaving 5 seconds in 7 weeks not possible, it would actually be difficult to shave 7/10 of a second in 7 weeks. If I'm Iszac Henig, I would be insulted by this. It is embarrassing when you think about it, as well as incredibly selfish on the part of Lia Thomas. You let me win last month in a race that didn't matter and no one gave a shit about. But when the Ivy League championship is on the line, you allow me to take the lead, then you beat me in the final seconds. Lia Thomas is using Iszac Henig, trying to prove that just because she was born with a dong, she doesn't have an advantage against actual women. No one is buying that bullshit. Well, none of us normal people are buying it, but the usual suspects are fully in support of Lia Thomas. ESPN published an article on ESPNW, the division that is supposed to be dedicated to actual women in sports. It didn't take long for the bullshit to flow right through my screen. Second sentence of the article, and ESPN had already started with the propaganda. Lia Thomas, who is a transgender woman. Wait a minute now. When did Lia Thomas transition? I've been covering Lia Thomas for 3, maybe 4 months now. I know more about her than I care to admit. Unless she had major surgery in the last 48 to 72 hours, Lia Thomas is not a transgender woman. She is a man pretending to be a woman. There's a huge difference between identifying as female and actually being a woman. Just because Lia Thomas identifies as a woman doesn't mean she's a woman. There is a simple way to resolve this. Does Lia Thomas have a dick in her pants? Yes. Okay. He's a fucking dude. It is going to get interesting next month. Lia Thomas has already stolen the dreams of women in the Ivy Leagues. Now, she is taking her theft national as she travels to Atlanta to compete in the NCAA championships. Guess who she's going to be competing against? Brooke Ford, daughter of renowned social justice warrior and all-around dumbass Pat Ford. For those that don't know, Pat Ford is a staunch supporter of Lia Thomas. He claims that people like me, who think Lia Thomas is a dude and should be competing against dudes, Pat Ford claims that we don't care about women's sports, and we're using Lia Thomas as a political wedge. Much like everything else woke, Pat Ford accuses normal people of doing exactly what he's doing. How is supporting a man in women's sports supporting women in sports? If anything, it will lead to the extinction of women's sports. The SJWs, they're the ones using Lia Thomas as a political issue. They're the people trying to normalize this insanity. The rest of us just want things to be normal. Men compete against men, women compete against women. I'm not sure why that is such a difficult concept to grasp. But the woke, they're not exactly known for their ability to think logically. I can't wait to see Pat Ford's reaction when Lia Thomas steals the NCAA title from his daughter. But let me know what you guys think. Does this prove Lia Thomas allowed her bestie, Iszac Henig, to win last month? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.